Man, this shit is different. Okay. I, I think I'm doing this right. Mm. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this a minute. I'm gonna just go ahead and let the phone chill. And yeah, let's just give this a minute. We're gonna talk about a few things. Let me see. Make sure I got all my notes right. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Well, god dang, got that in there. Okay, so that's crazy because I had that exact thing on here. You seen it? Let's go. There we go. Boy. All right, so I'm just gonna like play this shit off. I'm gonna assume that I'm live right now because it says that. Alright, so let me. I don't know how loud my background possibly could be to some people because I'm not used to doing things this way. But anyway, I do want to have a quick moment. I want to chit chat with y'all. Um, Let me see something. I don't know what is it. Is it layout? I don't know. Like, how do I? How do I? Okay. So yeah, this is crazy. Nah, it's just all right. So I'm on my phone right now, and I am trying to figure out how this shit works when you on your phone. I'm used to being, in my studio. Um, so yeah, I can't figure it out. So we're just gonna rock out. We're just gonna rock out. Reads, but I don't know if I'm talking to myself or not, but we're gonna do this. Welcome back to Smitty's Corner. All right now. I cannot see. Do I have comments? I don't know. Okay. What are the different modes? Ah, now I'm figuring things out. Cool beans. All right, y'all. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. Shit. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. I didn't kick myself out the studio. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna talk about a couple of things that just so happens to be on my mind. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. I'm just going to present some questions that I went on ahead and wrote down. And let's go from there. All right, you ready? Let's get it. And of course, the time right now is, what time is it? 12:21 p.m. East Coast Standard Time. And I thank you all for tuning in. And I hope that I'm not glitching too much. Respect to you all. Let's get it. All right, now. So, question number one reads: do people really seek truth anymore? That is something that I've thought about for quite some time. Do people really seek truth? I believe that the feeling of what one wants to believe is truth is sought out a whole lot more than the actual truth. So, if we were to say, is truth sought out? The first thing that comes to my mind is this. I think of this new terminology that's been brought about called my truth, your truth, their truth. And what I've recognized through analyzing this particular terminology is this. I've recognized that there is a whole lot of what your truth, my truth, our truth, their truth means. Primarily is more so opinionated basis, more so than what actually really took place. So, do people really seek truth nowadays? When we're talking about religion, when we're talking about politics, yeah, that's right. All of all of the things that we try our best to keep away from the dinner table. Do we actually really still want to keep that intact? What is basically the truth? And that's where I am. I'm more so on nowadays, do we really speak about what the actual facts are on what something happened? Or is it that we like to more so glamorize what it is that we want to highlight of I agree with this part, that part, and this part. You see. So it's like when it comes to the truth, a lot of people have a hard time meeting at that middle ground of what that truly consists of. The fact is, there's always going to be a his side, a her side, and everything that falls in between in the middle. And that's what really then takes place when we're talking about the truth, right? As opposed to do people really seek it? I would say, in a nutshell, to land it on this particular question, I'm really looking at more so folks are in tune with what part of the truth, keyword is part, what part of the truth resonates with them more. You see? So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get to the next question. All right. So we just kicking and cooling it for a little bit. Don't mind me. All right. I am miles away from home and I'm just chilling. But I still wanted to talk to you guys. So I'm doing this from my phone on a rotary, as you know, and I'm not, stationary at my station. So it's a little different on this mechanism. Let's go ahead and rock out. Much respect to the family. The time right now is 12:25 p.m. East Coast Standard Time, and I thank you all so much for tuning in. All right, so question number two reads: do we really still struggle, or do we think that we do? Now, I would say this. I will say this. When it comes to that particular question, Personally, I'm split down the middle. Do we still struggle? Absolutely, we do. Do we struggle in the forms in which you think I'm about to speak about? Probably not, right? So, do we still struggle? Yes. Is there a large aspect of life in which we don't struggle anymore? Absolutely. So, let's go ahead and get to it. The 50-50 is yes, we still struggle. Why? Because we struggle in our minds. I'm not talking about economics and redlining and you're not allowed to drink from this water fountain. No. Do we still struggle in our heads to get out of that headspace? Yes. And I see it every day. We do have a large majority of us that still does not know how to get out of that headspace of my Negro. We actually are free. And it's okay now. It's okay. You see? Now, I also recognize the aspect of those of us who never experienced it, never seen it, don't have a clue of what a struggle consists of. Matter of fact, they don't even have a, a inclination of what it's like to actually have to leave your house and go find your friends because we weren't able to text at the moment. All right, so I get it. Time moves on, so does technology. I was just talking about this on my ride to where I am now. So I get it. Now, hold on. Now, watch this. All right. So, do we really still struggle or do we think we do? I believe that the think we do is the more stronger point and more prominent today. Because if we have youth that never has been through any of that, matter of fact, I'm an 80s baby. I myself didn't even go through most of that, in which it is we talk about the struggle of the Black community, right? I myself, I'm talking about from the slavery aspect, you know, can't live here, can't walk here, can't go to this bar. Most of us, heck, I can go to 70s, 60s babies. They didn't go through that. In most places. Maybe in a deep, deep, deep south, like Mississippi. Okay, I give you that. But majority of us, we don't even know what that looks like. It's just that we have been so sensationalized and we have been so indoctrinated into the mind state of struggle that we don't even know how to see what is really around us today. We got so much around us today. And what it is that that's how I know that the masters, if you want to say rabbit ears now, because I don't know who you call your master, mine is God and God alone, but the master's plan, right, actually is working because it is a master plan, right? And it's working so well because we don't even realize how much of what the plan consists of that it is that we're playing out today. We're playing this shit out today. We're actually living it in real time, real life. And what makes it so dangerous of how cunning it is because most of us don't even want to recognize it's taking place. That's what makes it actually really more dangerous than anything else. It's just the simple fact that most of us don't even want to acknowledge it. Matter of fact, most of us who do even speak about it, we will get it on, right? They crap on us and they try to make it appear to be as if you're crazy because you're speaking about something that all of us see and before our very eyes. All of us see right there in front of our face. But for some reason, the plan has worked so well to the point where there are those of us who will deter others of us in the same boat, the same category, in the same communities to not speak about what it is that we see wrong going on around us. I could see you on fire and you will cuss me out while burning. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? That's how bad it's got. That's how deep the message has now flown through our veins for generations now. See, they've altered the DNA, not through a blood type. They altered the DNA through mindset. They were able to condition the mind enough to where we just don't even get it, that we're not going through what we used to go through. And most of us don't even want, like we're so scared to this very day in 2025 to even take time to look outside of the box. Because for decades, centuries now, we have been so comfortable just keeping that box closed. Just let me stay in here. I know I don't have that much room to move around, and it's pretty dark in here, and you know, smells like stale wood. But just let me stay in this box because I was never really given the tools. I was never really taught how to move if I box. I ain't never been taught that before. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do for real. So you know what? I think it's just best that I stay, quote unquote, rabbit ears in my own community, in my own neighborhood. So when we get to talking about you niggas ain't never traveled before, well, that's because most of us have been taught to stay inside of the box. Now, is it necessarily that individual's fault, or is it a bloodline history that has been induced into the veins of what it is that our mindsets once consist of that now has altered it? Right? It's almost like the old Nintendo game, Altered Beast. You know, you see this man, he's a man, and then he gets wild. He turns into a beast, and the whole game is him being this big, basically like a lichen. He's a werewolf, right? Altered Beast. And I've recognized how much that game, in just a small perspective, has been so significant to how it is that we move nowadays. So, do you really fault the person who has been continuously placed in a circumstance in which they have to adapt and adjust, they have to change, they have to do this, they have to do that? Do you? I don't know. Me, I know that there's a huge difference between a wild lion cub that grows up around other lions of its pride in the wild, and the lion cub that was abducted from that pride and has to grow up around humans in a cage. There is going to be a difference. Both lions are now adults. They're both fully grown, but I promise you, there's a huge difference in the way the wild lion moves, who was never taken out of his natural habitat in order to adapt, adjust, and survive, as opposed to the lion that actually is in the domesticated circumstance. You smell me now? Much respect to the family. Okay, now let's go ahead and get to the next question. Respect, respect. I'm just up here running my mouth. I'm not really up here to really do too much, but we're gonna keep going through this. Let's go through these questions. Let's get it. Now, next question reads, the next question reads. All right, now, let me see what we got. Hold on 1 second. All right. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? My bad. I had to get myself set. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to it. So, next question reads, if we are a part of the system, right? So, let's just think about it. When I say a part of the system, as far as like, let's say the government assistance, let's say whatever it is that your insurance consists of, let's say whatever it is that your tax paying dollars consist of, right? All of these things, from the lowest of the low, everywhere in between, and the highest of the high, all of us are incorporated into the system. The question reads, if we are a part of the system, then why can't we change it? You know what I've come to the conclusion of? You ready? Wait for it. Here it comes. I don't think we want it to change. I do believe that there is a part of us that has been so traumatized to the point where if things were truly fully peaceful and we got all of our wishes granted, we will make up something to complain about. Let's just be for real. I think we've seen it from marriages to wealthy lifestyles. You ever seen somebody who's in a perfectly well fit marriage and they find a reason to leave? They got to make up a reason to leave that marriage. Have you ever heard of the person who has the world at their fingertips? They can have all the riches and everything you can ever think of, and somehow or another, they find a reason to jump off the 83rd story of their skyscraper that their parents or their peoples or them themselves done built. So let's read the question again. Let's just get recaption. Let's get a recap on it. All right. If we are a part of the system, why can't we change it? I do believe, honestly, truly, because we don't want it to change. We'll talk about we want it to change, but we don't. Yes, I do recognize that there are aspects and there are certain perspectives and roadblocks and obstacles that are put in place to keep us from getting where we are supposed to go. Yes, I'm aware of it. I've gone through the same hurdles you have, black man, my sister. Trust that. But what I do recognize is that there's a lot more complaining about what's going on as opposed to all of the resources around us to change what's going on. So I come to the conclusion that the reason why we're a part of the system, but the system doesn't change is because we're actually in a subdued way comfortable now, and we have adapted and adjusted to what it is. And that's why you hear a lot of us say, hey, it is what it is, my nigga. What do you mean it is? Is it really it is what it is, or is it how it is right now because people have allowed it to get that way? Wow. See, that's a question I do believe most of us think about, but most don't ask out loud. And that's just some real just talking to my peoples right now. That's it. I'm just talking to my people, right? So let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next question. All right. The next question reads, is it better to complain about the government or to be a part of it? Wow. Ain't that something? Is it better to complain about the government or to be a part of it? Now, I would say this. How else would you change a system if you're not a part of it. Like, watch this, watch this. How else can you get a restaurant or a club or a bar to change the drinks and the food menu if nobody ever comes in to eat, right? So if you don't have people that are involved with said bar, restaurant, right? Open mic night, whatever it may be, the more people that come into the establishment and the more people that say, hey, we would like it this way, we would like it that way, I guarantee you from personal experience and seeing it before my very eyes knows that they're going to make those adjustments and changes. And I mean almost immediately, like that very night type shit. I think you'd be surprised how easy change can be made. You see? So is it better to complain about it or become a part of the process? Well, the fact is that if you're not pulling your weight, then you're dead weight. And if you're dead weight, then your words fall silent amongst every other tree that fell in the woods. The sound is silent. You smell me now? Respect to the family. All right. So, yeah, when it comes to, is it better to, complain about the government? Like, let me ask you this. At what point in your life, at any point, has complaining been any form of beneficial factor? At what point? At what point? As governmental or anything that's going wrong in society, even outside of that, complaining about something, your personal relationship, your job, a friendship, family, whatever it is you in particular who hears my voice at this moment may be going through, is it better to complain about it or is it better to go ahead and either remove yourself completely or put yourself fully into it so that you are now in the position of power to make the change? If I want a law not to be what the law is now, the best thing I can do is become the judge. Or if I can't do that, let's say I'm too old to become the judge. You know what other people do as far as cultures and races? They incorporate and put their kids, they put them into it. So if I'm too old at this point, me in about a week will be 43. Shout out to the fact that I made it thus far. Keywords thus far. I recognize that my time is slowly passing by. The best thing for me to do is to go ahead and make sure that my child knows what to do in my absence, how this should work, how this all plays out and goes. But see, the biggest problem that we have right now is that a lot of us are disconnected through generational gaps. Has nothing to do with commonality, right? It has nothing to do with demographic. No, it's just a generational gap. You too old, unc, OG, auntie, grandma, right? I don't want to hear shit. YT, young nigga, little girl, stay out of grown folks' business. Well, it's going to be real hard to get that change to really come through into fruition because this change is going to be something that's going to have to happen through generational circumstance. It's the generation that's going to have to really pull this forward. Now, what we do is we are the torch. And what I'm noticing is a lot of us are having a hard time passing on that torch. We just do. We got a hard time passing that torch along. And you know what's gonna happen if you don't pass the torch? You and everything around you is gonna wound up burning because you were supposed to give the torch off, not take it in your house. Now everything in your crib set on fire, as in the community and everything you know around you. So when we say the world's coming to an end, yeah, it's coming to an end because what is the world coming to an end? That is the definition of what you know it to be. Because the world's going to be, nature's going to grow, life is going to continuously go on, so on and so forth. But it will change as far as what you know it to be. And for a lot of us, that significant change is considered to be the end of life. Well, you know what we can do to keep that preservation and continuously flowing and going like a well flowing river? Just pass it on. Now, I know it's a lot of us that would say in our generation, as you know, from the 70s, 80s, 90s babies, that look, man, these YNs, they not trying to hear that. They not trying to hear anything we saying. I get you. So, do you know what I recognize is much more stronger than anything you can ever say? Is what you do. You know, the last time I checked, actions speak louder than words. So if we recognize as the older generation, as those who are much more of the veteran seasoned position, why don't we recognize that maybe we should just shut the F up? Stop trying to wrap them up. Stop trying to talk to them all day. Just move accordingly. I promise you, they don't have no choice but to fall in suit. Promise you that. Let's go ahead. Let's get to this next question. Much respect to the family. Let's keep on rocking out. All right, y'all. So now we got, and is it is this war on earth or a physical, right? When it comes to spiritual or physical. So do we have a spiritual war? Or do we have a physical war? Wow. Do we have a physical war or a spiritual war? You ever woke up some days and you just recognize that for whatever reason, nobody ever did anything to you at this particular moment? You're not stuck in traffic. Your check came through, right? Your relationship is good, or at least, appears to be. But for some reason, you just got this monkey on your shoulder, right? You just it's just gnawing at you. You just got this eerie feeling. Things actually flow smooth in your life, but for some reason, you just can't get comfortable around people. And you just be finding yourself continuously sinking deeper and deeper into being a loner, to the point where it's not now, it's now that you're not just a loner, you're somebody who's actually considered antisocial. Mm. Why am I speaking about that? I'm speaking about that because we recognize that it's something that's going on with us. Now, just like how I said, nobody did anything to you. Your check came through, your relationship is fine, but for some reason, you still wake up with this void that you just can't seem to figure out. What is this spot that's empty? That's the spiritual war. See, the thing is about the spiritual war is that it's not necessarily something that is directed to you and the group in which you claim or proclaim. No. Call yourself Christian. It's a Christian spiritual war against. No. I'm small hat. It's a small hat spiritual war against. No. I'm a Muslim. It's a Muslim war against. No. I'm Hindu. It's a Hindu war against. No. I'm Buddhist. It's a Buddhist war against. No. No. The war is with you, your spirit. It has nothing to do with what it is that you claim. It has everything to do with everything that you consist of. And everything that you consist of that is good is always going to be fought against. And it's not always going to be physical. Will it manifest itself into the physical? Absolutely. But is it physical? 9 times out of 10, not necessarily. Nah, that's an inward battle. No one on planet Earth can make you happy. Why do you think we say that? Because no one on earth can tap into what it is your spirit really calls out for. Yes, Mamina. No one can. Only you and your personal relationship with our loving creator. And I use that term because we all don't say the same name. And that's something that I respect. It comes with discernment and wisdom. I just wanted to give that quick message. Much respect to the family. I digress. My mic is muted. You all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.